Hey guys, it's Jea and welcome back to another video. So I hope everyone's doing well. I am making this video to share with you how I did my IELTS self-review. I know guys how it feels like when you're going to take the test, especially for first-timers. Everyone had their first time. I mean, it's not a big deal, but taking an IELTS exam can be quite stressful. You know, you're not going to take the test for free. You have to pay for it. If you don't want to waste your money, you have to nail it in one sitting. I did the test 6 years ago. Unfortunately, I was not able to get my target score. Showing you my scores on the screen, guys. At that time, I went to a review center, but still did not make it. It was really frustrating. So I decided to take another path. Moving forward, before I started my IELTS review, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos of IELTS test takers. I gathered informations, materials needed before I start the test. Just like you guys. Just a disclaimer, I'm not an IELTS teacher. I did not even scored high in my IELTS test. But guys, I would love to share with you how I did my IELTS self-review. Those things work well on me. Might work for you as well. If you want to know more, just keep on watching. What is IELTS? So IELTS stands for International English Language Testing System. It's an international standardized test of English proficiency for those who are non-native English speakers. So who are those? Like Asians. You can take the IELTS either computer or paper-based. For nurses, we need to take the IELTS academic. NMC accepts an overall band score of 7, 6.5 in writing, and at least 7 in reading, listening, and speaking. And also combining IELTS test scores in 2 sittings. You must sit the test within 6 months of each other and no scores lower than 6.5 in both sittings. So for example, I have 6 weeks to prepare for the test, and because of that limited time, I need to make a plan for my review. So in the first week, I gathered all the resources needed for the test. I've watched a lot of videos from IELTS test takers who did also self-review, including videos from IELTS Review Center. I printed a lot of materials for my reading and writing test, and I also bought a notebook like this. During that time, I am working 6 days in a week, and I am having split shifts every day. So it's really quite challenging for me to focus on my review. It was like I only had Sunday to do my full day review, but sometimes I really have to skip it because it's the only day to do my grocery shopping and etc. So guys, you are very lucky if you're doing your full-time review in IELTS. The first week is all about planning and gathering of our review materials for the IELTS. The second week, I did 1 or 2 listening mock tests every day, or if you can do more, it would be better, and 1 or 2 writing task 1 mock tests every day. And the third week, the same, 1 or 2 listening mock tests every day, 2 to 3 reading mock tests every day. Fourth week, I did 1 or 2 listening mock tests every day and 1 or 2 writing task 2 mock tests every day. The fifth week, I did 2 or more writing task 1 and writing task 2 every day. On the sixth week, I stopped my listening, reading, writing mock test. I started to focus on my speaking test. I've watched a lot of videos about speaking exam, especially those videos from previous or former IELTS examiner, because they shared a lot of information, tips on how to get a good grade in speaking exam. You have already now your organized study time, but it really depends on you of how do you want to plan your review. If you are confident enough not to study or review, then go on. IELTS, this test is really like a gamble. You not really know what will come out in the exam. You have an idea about the test, but the topics are like everything under the sun, so you really have to prepare for it. I think OSCE is more manageable because you have pointers or information, so you have an idea what will come out during the test. For others, it may seem easy, but for me, it was really difficult. But if others made it, why can't we? IELTS have 4 subtests: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Guys, I'm talking about an IELTS paper-based exam because that's what I took. For listening, this test is 40 minutes, 30 minutes to listen for the recordings, and additional 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. It has 40 questions. Each correct answer is equivalent to 1 mark or 1 point. Our recordings are heard only once, so you really have to listen well. Listening is a multitasking test. You have to write the answer while listening to the recordings, to analyze the question and look for the answer. So for me, listening is quite tricky. In listening, you will listen to 4 recordings in different accents. It might be British, Canadian, Australian, New Zealand, or American. There are different types of questions in listening, such as multiple choice, matching type, sometimes sentence completion, diagram, label, maps, and etc. Read the instructions carefully, check the word limit, check the number of words or numbers you need to fill the gap. For example, no more than 2 words or a number. Do not leave a blank answer in the answer sheet. If you do not know the answer, just try to make a guess. Who knows, it might be the correct answer. Check your spellings and write clearly. If you're doing your IELTS listening mock test, if possible, use your headphone or your earphones to keep you away from distractions. For the reading, a 60-minute test. It consists of 40 questions and you have to read, I think, 3 or 4 passages. Questions will be like multiple choice, matching type, sentence completion, matching headings, identifying informations like questions answerable by yes or no, not given, true or false. No extra time is given to this test, so you have to answer as fast as you can. Check your spelling. Take note of how many words or numbers needed. Then again, do not leave a blank answer and write clearly. Writing, for me, this is the most challenging test among the 4 subtests. Test is 60 minutes and you have to do 2 writing tasks. So task 1 and task 2. For task 1, you have to describe an information of a graph, a table, a chart, a diagram, or a map. In writing task 2, you will be given a particular topic wherein you have to write an essay of at least 250 words or more in 40 minutes. In writing task 2, it is very important to clearly respond to the question or to the statement by writing a well-organized argument or ideas. But, in the actual test, I forgot all the things that I've studied in writing. I was very anxious about the time and I really cannot think of a single word. Start with, I did my task 2 essay first because I think it would take time to write at least 250 words. And it was not really easy to analyze the whole argument, to formulate your topic sentence, to make an outline for the whole essay, think of supporting details, and even how to end your essay. It's very difficult. And you must not stop writing because the clock is ticking. I would suggest to keep your essay simple and concise. Since NMC already accepts 6.5 score in writing, I think it's more manageable to achieve that score. During my review, I printed a lot of model answers from different websites and I kept on rewriting them down on paper because that's how retention work on me. Of course, you have to practice with a timer. It really helps, guys. So for the speaking test, the test is, I think, 15 minutes, a maximum of 15 minutes. During this test, you will be given with a paper and pen to write down your ideas. So the test, I think, consists of 3 parts. Part 1 will be general information like getting to know each other with your interviewers. In test part 2, it's a long turn. So you will be given a piece of paper with a particular topic. This time, you will be using the pen and paper provided to you to write down the ideas, and you will be given 2 to 3 minutes to speak about the topic. So in part 3, this part, the examiner will ask you follow-up questions about part 2. So I think the most important thing about the speaking exam, aside from your fluency to discuss the relevant ideas about your topic, is your ability to pronounce well. I admit I really struggled during my speaking exam. Of course, you are talking to a native speaker who knows the language well. I felt very intimidated and knowing that I am being scored. So I was very careful with what I am going to say. I came across this video on YouTube. He was a former IELTS examiner and he was giving tips on IELTS speaking test. He said that the moment you introduce yourself to an examiner, the examiner already knows what score he will give you. Of course, they know that you are very nervous on the first part. So it's like they are giving chances later part. For me, in the first part, I stammered a lot and the examiner kept on smiling and maybe he was laughing of what I am saying. But later on, I realized I am comfortable with the discussion. On part 3 of the test, I noticed that his face became serious and he was very attentive to every detail that I was giving him or I was saying. So after the test, I realized that I think that was the time that he was giving me scores. So guys, do not lose your hopes. So if you think that you are not doing well during the part 1 or part 2, just continue to do your best until the end of the test. Who knows, the examiner might change his or her mind throughout the test. During the speaking exam, just be yourself. But if you don't really have an idea about the topic, so just invent a story and make it believable. Sometimes, guys, talking about a real incident or a real thing makes it easier for us to create an emotion. During my speaking exam, I realized that I was talking about something out of the topic and I became a bit emotional, like I was going to cry, but the examiner patiently listen to my story. So I think emotions can move your examiner. I am not suggesting that you really have to cry, but try to put emotions on what you're saying. It will be fine. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm going to show you my score on screen. I know it's not really that impressive, but I work hard on it. Guys, thank you so much and see you on my next video.